In this video, we will be going over the role of the witness. Now you may be thinking, what is she on about? What about the role of the witness? And so if you're curious, then stay till the end, because this is such a juicy wisdom to be aware of, to move forward with in the best way in life. So, what do I mean with the role of the witness? So when we are interacting with people, when we are shining our light, when we are sharing, there are two things happening. There is the person who is giving or who is sharing, and there is the person who is receiving, right? And so we get to experience this in all areas of our lives all the time. And when we are giving or sharing and we are being received, however, we are not being acknowledged, then it feels really painful, right? When we are giving our love, we're like, oh, I'm here, I've got my love, I've got so much love to give you. And somebody's like, yeah. And they're not acknowledging you, they're not seeing your light within you because they're in their wound or whatever reason there may be for that. It's not as satisfying, right? Then we're like, oh, well, what's the point in me sharing my light when somebody else is just not even going to see me? They're not even going to know what's happening right now. They're not even going to be tapped into this potential of a loving interaction between the two of us in this moment. So, let's get back to what is the definition of the role of the witness. The role of the witness is the person who is receiving, witnessing, and acknowledging. The person who, when they see something that is inspiring, they're like, wow, that is amazing. And they can go one step further and feed it back to the person who created whatever they are in awe of. So they are receiving it fully, and then they are able to give it back, be like, wow, I really love what you did there. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. Because then the person who created the thing will feel like, wow, they are seeing what I am creating. How beautiful is that? And then it's just this endless feedback loop of love, because then they can give love back and be like, wow, thank you so much for seeing me. And the person can feel loved for being like, oh, wow, they are seeing me right now and they are witnessing me right now, witnessing them. And so it can just be this endless spiral of love, which is what we want more of in our lives, right? So I'd like to bring this example that came up for me around how we can really imagine this on a deeper level, like what is going on with this role of the witness. So I was thinking the Olympics, yeah? The Olympics are where these top athletes who are at the top of their game, who've devoted their whole lives for their fitness, to be the best, to like be able to do these things which are absolutely incredible, yeah? Imagine if those athletes, those people were doing all of those amazing things physically without anyone watching. It would be so unsatisfying. Imagine there was no stadium, there was no TV, they're just doing it and no one's even seeing them. That would be so sad, right? So this is where the role of the witness comes in, because you have the crowd, you have the people on TV, the crowd is there, and they can give direct feedback. They can be clapping like, oh my God, well done, that was amazing. They can be cheering on. So when the athletes feel seen, they are being witnessed, and they know they're being acknowledged because they can hear the feedback from the crowd, and they can feel it as well. It's not only hearing it, right? You can feel when you are being witnessed and acknowledged on a deeper level. You can sense it as well, right? So I thought that was a really beautiful example of where we can see that on kind of like a grander scale, a bigger level. And then I really wanted to share this little story with you as well of a couple of years ago. where this also really felt so important to me that it happened in this moment, right? So every year, for a few years now, I go for a winter swim. And so, yeah, I live in the UK. I live like 20 minutes by car to the beach. So it's right there for me. And basically, I like to do it usually in February, sometimes March. And that's kind of when the water is at its coldest here in the UK. So I head down there, and I haven't got a wetsuit on or anything, and I just head into the freezing cold water. And so this time 2 years ago, I think it might have been 3 years ago, it was the first time I was doing it. And I felt just like, what am I doing right now? But I really felt this really strong inner sense that I'm really meant to be doing this. This is really important. And it was the full moon as well. It was just around sunset. It was absolutely beautiful. And so it was absolutely freezing air temperatures, probably like, I don't know, maybe 10 degrees Celsius or something. And so everyone at the beach was wearing like a hat and gloves and big winter coats. They were walking their dogs. And I was just there like, yeah, I'm going to be stripping off right now. So that's what I did. And I head into the sea. I was like, I'm doing this. I had this determination, like, I'm doing it. And I got in there, and it was incredible. It was absolutely freezing, and it felt like red hot needles all over my body. And it was so exhilarating, and I managed to stay in there maybe for like a couple of minutes or something. Had a little swim, and I was like, okay, it's getting too painful now. I'm going to go back out. That was good. That was enough. And as I was coming out, I felt like everyone should be applauding me. I felt like I should be like, yeah, well done, yeah. That's what I was hearing in my mind. Like everyone being like, oh my God, yes, like applauding, like well done. Because I was feeling that for myself, right? I was feeling so proud of myself for having done that, for having overcome myself, for having gone out there. And so I felt like that's what I should be experiencing. And obviously, I came out and there was no one there, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't need applause. I'm really proud of myself. It's all good. And then I kind of put my clothes back on. And then actually these two people came up to me who were kind of walking back from their walk. And they were like, oh, and then I was like, yeah, and they're like, oh, we saw you go into the water. That was so amazing. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And then they were like, yeah, you even went in there without a wetsuit. That guy over there, he was wearing a wetsuit. You weren't even wearing one. And they were just really witnessing me and seeing me and acknowledging me. And it was so beautiful. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it was just a really beautiful interaction. And it was so beautiful to be witnessed in that moment because, yes, it was so satisfying for me to do it for myself. And yet having that acknowledgement from a beautiful being who I've never seen before, probably will never see again, and them being like, we see you. You did something amazing. That is so, so beautiful and so rewarding. So what I would like to say about this as well is how for us to be a really beautiful witness, we get to work in ourselves and love ourselves as well, because if we are still in the lower frequencies of jealousy, of self-loathing or anything like that, we are not going to be able to be a beautiful witness for another. We're going to get triggered by that person. We're going to see them and be like, oh, la, la, la. And we're not going to have positive things to think or say about them, right? So, and that's a shame, because then we're missing an opportunity of love. We're missing an opportunity of being inspired. Because if we are jealous, we are not being inspired. We are thinking, we're so in our self-loathing or low self-worthiness that we can't acknowledge the other as a beautiful equal. because we're all equals, right? We all have something to give and we all have something to receive. And so we can, when we love ourselves, when we do the work and love ourselves and celebrate ourselves, acknowledge ourselves as well, right? Then we are also so ready to be that witness, to see that other person in their light, to receive their light, and to be able to give it back, to be like, oh my God, you are amazing. And then it's just that spiral of love again, right? And so what I also want to add to this as well is how it's not about looking for external validation. Like, that is not what I'm talking about in this, because everything that we experience is a reflection of how we are treating ourselves within. So if we are not acknowledging ourselves within, if we are not getting to know ourselves, if we are not loving ourselves, if we are not holding space for ourselves, compassion, lessening the voice of judgment for ourselves, if we are not doing those things, then we will not receive it from outside, and we may be looking for external validation. When are they going to tell me they love me? When are they going to tell me I'm amazing? And we're never going to get it. And even when we do, we may get it, and for a short moment it'll be like, oh great, and then we'll be like, oh, I'm so shit. It's never going to work for a sustainable, loving wholeness that we can feel within, which is completely possible. It is 100% possible. And we get to cultivate it. And so the first steps are witnessing ourselves, celebrating ourselves. At the end of the day, writing down one thing that we're proud of, that we managed to achieve that day. Whether it's I woke up and I made the bed straight away. Or whether it's I went for that walk even though I didn't feel like it, even though it was raining. Or whatever it may be. It can be a really beautiful, small thing, because nothing's really small, but it might feel small. Or it can be a huge thing, like, oh my God, I achieved that success that I've been waiting for ages around that thing. So the more we tap into this way of thinking around ourselves, like acknowledging what we are doing, celebrating ourselves for it, seeing it, really seeing ourselves, the more we get to step into that spiral of love. So if you like this video, do go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what felt like the juiciest nugget for you, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next video.